Welcome along. It's been a very difficult time for all involved in women's football and beyond as well. For the last 2.5 years, I've been absorbed by the harrowing tales told by the courageous former footballers that you may have seen on last Sunday's RTÉ Investigates programme as part of a joint investigation with the Sunday Independent. Karen and Rianna are with me in studio. You both played the game your whole lives. Rianna, what was going through your mind when you watched these women's stories on Sunday night?
It was very difficult to hear. Football is supposed to be a safe place for everyone, and unfortunately for so many people that wasn't the case. No one should ever have to endure such behaviour. I mean, representing your country is supposed to be one of the most honourable times of your life, and unfortunately for so many people it wasn't. I can only commemorate those that were brave enough to stand up and say their stories, and obviously stand by everyone else that had to go through such horrible situations.
Karen, a spotlight has been shown now on women's football. What needs to be done to make it better, to make it safer?
It feels like an awful lot needs to be done, and I feel like it's the responsibility of everyone in the game now to really step up, because it almost feels like a societal change is needed. Certainly within clubs, we'll say a cultural change needs to be there, where safeguarding becomes the foremost priority for absolutely everyone in the club. And I think it goes beyond just doing due diligence when hiring coaches in. I think there needs to be regular checks. I think you also need to educate players. Players might feel like something's not right, but they don't know how to report it or something like that. You have to educate them maybe on signs of misconduct, and then have it very clear what the reporting lines are. So there's a huge amount that needs to be done on the ground, I think. But it also feels like something bigger is needed nearly on a national level, to have an independent safeguarding kind of committee that, you know, obviously the FAI and all sports organisations should and do have safety protocols, and obviously they need to be looked at now in better terms. But when something is reported, it feels like an independent body should nearly go in now, because it can be, you've hired that coach, you've invested time in that coach. There may be, unfortunately, unconscious bias, or that's your colleague or something like that, and you might not want to believe it. So yeah, I think there's a huge amount that needs to be done. I just echo what Rianna said, just commend the work that you and Mark did, and just like so proud obviously of the women who came forward to tell their story. It was so brave.
Yeah, anyone that's affected can, or wants to report anything, can check out raiseaconcern.com. That's where you can make a confidential report. Just one other thing I wanted to ask you as well, Karen, while we're on this. Yesterday there was the announcement of the new men's national team manager. It was the eve of such a big game for the Ireland women. It coincided with the week where these revelations were being spoken about. Lots of questions about the timing of this announcement. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, to be honest, I was a bit miffed by it. I thought it was kind of tone deaf, to be honest, in a week where these women were brave enough to speak out and use their voice on such an important topic. That voice and those sentiments should have been the only thing echoing throughout the FAI, I think, this week. And it was a little bit lost in the ether. You go on social media and stuff, it was all about the men's team announcement. And I just feel like it wasn't the time. We'd waited long enough for a men's team manager. We knew that this match was coming. It's an important week for women's football. It's an important week for football, and nothing should be done to shadow what was said, or the programme, or the revelations. And yeah, I thought it was poorly executed, to be honest.
OK, well said, Karen. Well, look, there's plenty more stories to be told. We know that for sure. Let's check in with Tony now, though, at Carrow Road. Tony, it's undoubtedly difficult to build up for a big game with so much happening around. What impact have these women's stories had on this Ireland group?
Well, the players gathered in camp last Sunday, Marie, and a lot of them would have watched your programme, the RTÉ Investigates programme, with some shock, you'd have to say. Eileen Gleeson mentioned during the week that people have been deeply affected by the issues that were raised there. And we didn't get an opportunity to talk to too many players. Normally in a camp we talk to usually 4, 5, 6 players and get a sense of the build-up to the game. The only time we got to talk to a player was Aoife Mannion yesterday, and she said that her heart goes out to all the players who have been affected, and to the brave women who have come forward. So a July window was going to be difficult enough, but this has made things difficult emotionally, I would say, for the team. And coming here, of course, to the home of the European champions, difficult as well. And to that point about the men's manager being announced yesterday, well, maybe that was a bit inappropriate as well, because, you know, this is the team that made a World Cup final last year. This is the team that can possibly, particularly if they get a seeding, get through to the next European Championships. and there has been a lot of noise, but now I guess they have to refocus their energies and try and get a result this evening.